um, share my screen. And let me know if you can see my screen. Can anybody see my screen yet? Can anybody see my screen?
Not yet, Victoria. It's not up yet.
Oh, okay. All right. How about
But
now?
it's loaded. Yeah, it's up now.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right. So the second session we're having today is communicating for impact. And we have a very fantastic and amazing facilitator in the room today who is going to be doing justice to that topic. Her name is Bidemi Adedire, and she works with Giving Tuesday. She's an idea strategist, consulting for and lending her expertise to organizations across different sectors. She's skilled at crafting top-tier communication strategies, driving idea generation processes, and managing complex programs, always with a human-centric approach that leads to meaningful impact. Through her interests and expertise that span many fields, her core focus is in service to humanity. In her current role at Giving Tuesday Hub, Bidemi leads digital engagement, championing community engagement and movement building across Africa, while supporting over 20 country movements. Bidemi believes wholeheartedly that striving for a better world is a commitment worth every second. If you're passionate about building a world that is kinder, healthier, and more innovative, chances are your paths are meant to cross. Wow. So let's give it up for our facilitator, Bidemi Adedire, as she takes us on a journey into communication for impact. You know the drill. If you're not clapping, if you're not excited, I'm not going to let her speak. So you need to show me that you're ready for this session this morning or this afternoon. Hi, Bidemi. Good morning. Thank you for
Hi,
joining us.
Victoria. Lovely seeing you. Please
All
confirm you
right.
can hear me.
Absolutely. Can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good day, everyone. Just a moment so I can share my screen. And if you can please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. 1 minute. I am trying to... Okay, because I want to see everyone's comment even though I'm sharing my screen. So, all right, I think we are ready. Okay, so good morning. We have like 4 minutes left to be to afternoon. So it is an absolute honor to be here with you. My name is Bitemi, and I work with Giving Tuesday Africa Hub, just like Victoria had said. Um, I'm a firm believer in the power of your work. You're all here as part of LEAP Africa's Youth Day of Service Bootcamp, which means you are not just dreamers. You are doers. You're emerging leaders, actively building the communities you want to see. This session is called Communication for Impact or Communicating for Impact. And I want us to explore how your story can be told effectively and how that can become a movement as we go forward. So my title is Communications Manager amongst the different, apart from the different lives that I live. But what it really means is that my job is to find, to document, to celebrate, and to amplify stories of generosity and community action from across the continent. So it means I get to work with leaders like you every day, people who see challenges and decide to be solutions. So being here feels like I'm coming home. It feels like home. Um, Leap Africa and Giving Tuesday, I think, speak the same language. Leap Africa is committed to the mission of raising leaders that will transform Africa, and you are the embodiment of that mission. At Giving Tuesday, we believe that transformation is fueled by generosity, by kindness, and our goal is to build a world where giving is a part of everyday life. So you see, we are on the same team. We are working towards the exact same goal. Um, and I'm hoping that at the end of this session, we have clarity about the kind of work that we do. Um, I would like to give a shout out to Victoria and the rest of the team for this opportunity. I had spoken at, I think, an initiative by Leap Africa before now, weeks ago, and that was an interesting conversation. I'm hoping that this is also interesting for you all. How many of us know what a Monica is? I hope we do. I'm looking at the comment section just to see if some of us know what a Monica is. A Monica is like a nickname. Some people would say my spirit animal is a lion or something like that. But here, I want us to choose parrots. So because I'm ambitious, very ambitious actually, I am the ambitious parrot. So I want us to just do one quick activity where you all tell me what your monikers are. If you can scan the code that would pop up very soon, share what your moniker is right here, and it would pop up on this screen that you are seeing. I want to meet you all, and I want to meet you all based on who you think you are and how you see yourself. Let's take a minute to do that. Okay, I see someone in the comments saying his moniker is Wolf, and I'm curious as to why yours is Wolf. But also, I want to see it pop up on the screen. I will come back here to see the names that you guys have given yourself. Okay, I see someone say Bull. Interesting. Fatu says he or she doesn't know. I don't know if you're a guy or a lady. But moving on, and I'll keep looking at the comment section just to know how you all see yourself. Before we get into the heart of this session, I just want to give you all a quick heads up. And it's afternoon, so good afternoon, everyone. If at any point my voice glitches or my screen freezes, it's because of Wi-Fi issues. Isn't I have some Wi-Fi issues currently, and the Wi-Fi here isn't so great. But we'll keep things flowing no matter what. I've moved some things around so I can see your comment. Lion, eagle. Someone says peacock. Interested. And I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Fatu, for clarifying that you're a lady. Lovely meeting you. So again, I've moved some things around. So you might not see me looking at the camera. I want to see what you guys are saying. I want to hear your thoughts, your feedback, and your comment and your questions. And I'm also sharing my screen right here. So do not worry. I am not distracted. And this is a conversation I really want to have with you all. Shark. Interesting. I'm going back to the Monica screen because someone says she or he, butterfly, Baba or Baba. Eagle, I see like 3 people already call themselves eagles. Lovely. Um, I'll come back to the screen later on just to meet with you all once again. Okay. So I want to start with a fundamental question. Why does communication, the way we tell our stories, matter so much? And I think that Chimamanda gave us the answer. She warned us about the danger of a single story. And for too long, the story of Africa told to the world, and sometimes the story we've been told ourselves, has been a single incomplete story. It's a story of poverty, usually. It's a story of need. It's a story of helplessness. It's a story of what we lack. And on the other hand, because this is a deficit narrative, it's a narrative that positions entire communities as passive recipients of aid waiting to be saved. Whereas the Africa you and I know is the Africa of innovation, right? Of resilience, of community strength, and of joy, despite anything else that might be happening in the world. This is the story of your Youth Day of Service project. It is the story of solutions. And it's the reason we are here today to make conscious choice and effort. Every time you write a funding proposal, or you put a post on social media or speak about your project to anyone, you are choosing which story to tell. And I really recommend that you tell the complete story Do not tell a story to gain sympathy, because that is not working anymore, to be honest. Do not tell stories to guilt trip people, right? To guilt them into giving, for example. Because the questions you should be asking is, are you accidentally reinforcing the old incomplete story of lack? Or are you telling the powerful story of your community's agency, creativity, and strength? So, for example, if students and children have to trek to school to attend classes, of course, the problem is that they do not have transport, right? Do not have buses to transport them from homes to school. But can we also tell the story of the determination for this student, the determination that this student possess, wanting to be educated no matter what? I think that's the kind of story we want to tell. So people can choose to be a part of that determination and that story of resilience. So how do we frame this new story? Here where I work, we have a guiding philosophy. And I want to share that with you because I don't think it's a philosophy that is just for a particular set of people. I think this philosophy is inherently African. So we call it radical generosity. And when we say radical generosity, we are trying to tell the world that generosity is not transaction, is not the transaction of goods, or is not the transaction of the wealthy given to the poor. That's the old story. Radical generosity is built on the belief that every act of generosity counts, that everyone has something to contribute, and the world that we live should be a world that is built on shared humanity and solidarity. Okay? Is this a new idea that we are importing from the West? No. This is the language of Ubuntu. This is the language of Arambi. It's the language of Isusu, right? It's how we collectively save money to support ourselves. Generosity appears in that form. So at the Africa Hub, part of our work is to research and document these powerful giving traditions that have been here from time immemorial, because generosity is in our DNA. So when we communicate for impact, we are recognizing that you, right now, you are giving your time, which is to me the most expensive asset that you can give, that you can give your time. You can give your time as a volunteer. You can give your talent by sharing a skill. You can share your voice to advocate for a cause, and you can give treasure, which is what we mostly know and always go after: money. All of it matters. That's the point. All of it is powerful. So I am setting this background and giving us this context because I want our communication to start from this point. It allows you to invite people into your movement, to allow people grow with you and journey with you in a movement that is of abundance, resilience, courage, and not a story of lack and scarcity. Okay, so how do we put this philosophy to practice? If there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it would be this slide. This is the single most powerful practical shift you can make in your communication. It's a shift from deficit-based language to an asset-based language. And I want us to walk through it. There was a reason I wanted you all to share your money cards with me, because I want to see those of you that would sort of talk to me as I'm also talking. I know we can't all speak, but I want to see you all in the comments, and we would do some live activities as we go. So on your screen, you would see some deficit-based language. And I want you all to take a moment to review what you're seeing. Let's try out a live session. Oh, someone says my screen is glitching. Can you see my screen now? And can you also hear me? Okay, I see some hands, and I'm hoping, okay, good. So let's try this. We have here, help the poor and vulnerable in my community. We lack resources to solve this problem. And we have a language that says showcasing problems and needs. So let's change that to an asset-based language, right? Instead of saying help the poor and vulnerable, what if we said invest in the potential of my community's future leaders rather? The first is solely on pity. The second is saying, this is the situation of things. We would like to partner with you to change what is currently on ground. So it reframes your beneficiaries as protagonists, full of potential, right? Full of agency and power. Instead of we lack the resources to solve this problem, which I don't believe, to be honest. I think when we look inwards, we can find ways to tackle our problems, right? Our community is rich in talent and drive. With the right partnerships, we can create an enabling environment. I think that's the word we should use there, and resources needed to unlock that potential and set it up for lasting success. Um, why are we doing this? You are not helpless. The community is not helpless. Nigeria is not helpless. Africa is not helpless. However, if we're to move forward, if we are to achieve the world that we want to see, partnership is key. So we are resilient, we are resourceful, and what you are telling people and your partners and your stakeholders is you can be a part of our success story if you join us now. It positions your community as the hero of the story and not the victim waiting for a hero. Do we sort of understand? And I want us to sort of do a small conversion here where we convert a deficit-based language to an asset-based language. I've shared why it matters, so I'm just going to go straight to this. I want to see if I can share a link with you all. But first, there's a reason why this simple change in language and communication changes everything. It changes how funders see your work, how partners see your value, and more importantly, how the community see your attempt and effort to contribute to its success, right? You move from highlighting problems to stating those problems as well as the solutions and the opportunities. Personally, I think problems are opportunities for you to be innovative and creative. So there are opportunities for people to be part of the solutions. You move from inspiring guilt to inspiring hope, right? So we've talked about language frames, the reality, how people tell stories, which is still happening today, and how deficit-based storytelling holds back the communities we are trying to uplift. So I want to invite you to rewrite some narrative. I set up a collaborative board. I'm going to share that screen shortly. And I'm going to share the link in the chat. I wonder if I can. So we will all go to this board, right, and collaborate. Let me see if I can share it to everyone. We will convert some deficit-based language to asset-based language. I want us to think, are there some adverts you've seen by humanitarian organizations who unintentionally have been communicating this way? If you can remember them, not verbatim, but if you can remember what it felt like and what you saw, let's write it down. And then let's try and convert those languages into asset-based languages, right? I want us to learn together. So two ways you can participate. I think I'll have to stop sharing just very quickly to be sure. Oh, yeah, it's here. Let me see. Please give me a moment. All right. Can you confirm that you are seeing the right? I assume that you're saying the right thing now. Awesome. So let's do some conversion. Can anyone share some deficit-based language that you have heard, you've seen it on popular platforms, maybe their social media pages and report? Let us do this very quickly. I just need a few volunteers. I see that we have more than 100 people here. So having 20 people joining would be amazing. I think also, if you need the QR code again, or if you need me to share the link, please let me know. All you have to do is double click to add a language. All right. When you do that, you can drop your name or your moniker just so we recognize who is dropping this comment. And then we can work on changing that to an asset-based language. Is that okay? Is anyone on this link yet? Are you having troubles being on this platform? Because this is a new one. I'm not sure if you require a login. Also checking if Mohammed, when you say no, what does no mean? You have okay, awesome, no troubles. All right. So are we thinking through can we think through any deficit? Also, you can work on the ones I fixed here and try to put in your own way of changing this deficit-based languages to, excuse me, to an asset-based language. How would you communicate or convert this um 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 languages? I'm curious to see how you would change these languages because this is how I want us to. Oh, someone says it takes you out of the meeting. So I'm suspecting that you are probably using your mobile to join the meeting. So I guess that's why. I don't know. Usually when I join meetings, I still get to do other things while I'm in the call. So I'm not sure I can help with this. But is there anyone else that has any trouble joining this? I'm not sure I see anyone on the call or on the board. Let me see. Yep, it's still me. It's not the screen that you're trying to edit. You have to click through the link. Okay, I see most of you are on mobile. Okay. Okay, what we can do is share your deficit-based language here in the comment section. I can in here so everybody can see, and then we can walk through the asset-based language. So if you have a deficit-based language that you've seen, you've heard, you can post them here. I think I have less than 1 minute for this session. So we can move on quickly to other slides. And then we can work on an asset-based language. Just share what you know, what you've heard, a language, a message that you've heard, you've seen on socials. You can share it in the comment section, and then we can copy paste in here. So Ashley says unavailability of resources. So this is a deficit-based language. How would you convert this to an asset-based language? Rahila. Okay, that's okay. That's fine. I will share this board with the Leap Africa team after now. But for now, let's work with two languages. I see unavailability. Of resources, right? So let's create a new one. I see our children can access basic education because of poverty. That's a good one. Actually, I see a lot of messaging around this almost every day on Instagram. Can access basic education because of poverty. So we have a number of deficit-based language now. Let's talk about asset-based. Those of you that shared this deficit-based language in the comment section, I want you all to share what you think what you think the language should be going forward. Girls are missing school because of period poverty. Funny enough, this particular language I actually am going to touch on it in the comment slides. Period poverty. Okay, so we have this. Financial constraints. Sorry, I'm trying to get all the comments that I'm saying. The people in Onisha haven't had access to clean water for over 60 years. Okay. The people. All right. I'm looking forward to your asset-based language now. Children can accept based language from parents. So let me go back. Okay. Precious, our children can access basic education because of poverty. How would you reframe that? People with poor hygiene. This is from Dara. And I think that we need to flesh that out a bit, but I think I see where you're going with that statement. Uche Chukwu, let's begin to work on the asset-based language so we don't spend too much time here. And I already see really good entries. Someone has added theirs to the board. But I can't see it. Prince Will, I can't see yours. So when you double click and you type, you need to click on post, just like you would post on online. Children can access. I want to see there's a high rate of IDP camps in Benue due to insecurity from farmers, the farmer aid crisis. I'm thinking about that framing, but yes, it does need to be converted if for me to think about the framing. So asset, Caroline, awesome. The future of young girls are at risk because of lack of access of adequate basic period needs. I think we are almost there, but thank you for this conversion. I probably would say because I have a story on this. So I'm trying to think of another example apart from the one that I've already written. Um, 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 I would probably hint at the fact that the young girls being in school are not missing school because they don't have their basic needs. Being in school sort of assures them, it's an assurance that they would have a bright future. I think that's what I would say, as opposed to that they have future is at risk. I would say something around the future of young girls is assured with your partnership. If with your partnership, once they have access to these basic needs. I think that's what I would say. But thank you for that, for converting this already. But I'm sure you guys are already seeing that the problem. We are already used to language as it is already, which is already deficit based. And even personally, when I want to share, do any external facing content with partners and stakeholders and on social media, I have to reread it and say, okay, now let's look at the language. High crime activities among youth due to unemployed, unskilled youth in Kuali leading. Okay, I see the deficit language, Sheila. I want to see the asset-based language. I'm having troubles copy pasting. Let me see. I wish I came with a colleague, not working. So I can copy paste all of this comment. I want to plead and ask a favor from the Leap Africa team if we can copy all of this comment. I can sort of share my own asset-based language after the session, like a gallery after the session with everyone else. But I'm looking forward to your asset-based language, Sheila. How would you reframe this particular language? The girls in our communities are powering through school irrespective of period. I see what you're saying. Amazing. But we also want to end, which leads me to the next slides I'll be sharing. Now we've changed the language, but we also need to cause an action, to influence an action, right? So after we have stated the resilience of the girls, the fact that they unfortunately are forced to miss school and they don't want to. So they are clearly interested in being educated. They see the value in education. And if we can just provide these resources to them, then they can become all that they dream to be as girls. That would be amazing. Okay, Eva, deficit based. Our communities and the country are underdeveloped because our leaders are not working. Yes. Asset based. We have young and passionate people about leadership that can be groomed. I think there's just a small grammar issue, but we go past that. That can be groomed, mentored, and encouraged to take up roles. Yes, yes, and yes. Eva, one Coke for you, chilled one, because it's very hot right now. Solve the problem of climate change in my community. Okay, we are going to the anatomy of a compelling story, but I see where you're going, Zara. Thank you for that contribution. Using the unavailable resources and aid from stakeholders, the school children can have access to food. Okay, using the available resources and aid from stakeholders, the school children can have access to food. Yes, yes, yes. But I think there is more beyond just the access to food. There's a correlation between nutrition and the ability of children, the ability for these children to actually gain knowledge. If you are hungry, you will not be able to learn. So there is more to that, but I see where you're going, and I love that you've been able to convert that language. Um, there are many children in dysfunctional families in the community. I believe this is deficit. Looking forward. Oh, guys, I love that you all are contributing. I'm clearly very slow because I see you guys dropping your comment. Izine, you said you do not understand anything. Okay, I hope this session is being recorded so that you can sort of revisit I talked about just now before this activity that we are doing. These youth are full of potential and are seeking meaningful opportunities to grow and contribute. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Uchechukwu, I see. Yes, Uchechukwu. Thank you for that, for converting that deficit-based language to asset-based. Now, to be honest, and I also think why Izine was not understanding anything is I wanted all of us to drop all of this on the board and then we convert it and we see the difference. But because some of us are having trouble accessing this tool, we just had to use the comment section. Again, I hope that I would have access to the chat history later on, just for the purpose of this languages, and then we can separate them and I can share it with everyone else later. But I do have to go back to our slides because we don't have much time left. Let me stop sharing and share the right. Let's go back to our slides for now. Checking if you all can see my screen. I think you guys can. Okay. So that's just a small activity, but that's also to show us how much work we need to do in changing our language from deficit to asset-based. Okay. So we have our new frame, asset-based language rooted in radical generosity, rooted in not just sharing the problem, but also sharing how people have been surviving despite this problem and how people are still moving on despite this problem, right? We are not swooping in to save this community. We are actually helping them live a better life as well. So how do you craft a message that actually works? And I'm going to use the period poverty story that I think I saw 2 to 3 of them in the chat here, okay, at this point. Can anyone confirm they can hear me? Helen says she has not been able to hear anything. Okay, so then it's not me. Helen, if you can maybe log out and log in, that would be great. So I want to give you a simple filter. For every single piece of communication you create, you would notice that in this session, I'm not even talking about social media. Why? Because it's all encompassing. This frame should be at the back of your mind for everything you do. When you speak to funders, when you speak to stakeholders, when you speak to volunteers, and then also when you do external facing communications, it's the know, feel, do framework. So before you write that email, before you shoot that video, before you post on IG, ask yourself 3 simple questions. The first one is, what is the one single thing I need my audience to know? Not 10 things, one thing at this time. Now, I say this because as young people, we are very zealous. We are very much motivated, and we want to solve some of the most complex issues on the planet. And we feel that when we talk about these issues, we have to talk about everything for people to understand it. People need to see the urgency of this problem. Unfortunately, that might not work. What will work is taking it in phases, bringing people in bit by bit to the point where they are now interested in this journey of yours and in this problem you are trying to solve, right? It's like you unfolding the complexity of an issue, but allowing them to understand it in their own pace. Okay. So, for example, girls in my village miss a week of school every month because they don't have sanitary products. That's deficit already, but it's the problem, right? What is the emotion do you want them to feel? That's the second question. How do I want them to feel when they hear this story, when they hear this problem? People are moved to action by emotion, not just data. There's a point you would get to that data would be needed. Data would be sort of the deciding factor between you and the next big opportunity. But at the initial stage, the feeling matters. Do you want them to feel a sense of injustice, a surge of hope, a feeling of connection? So for that previous example, and this would also help you with converting a deficit-based language to an asset-based language, because you want them to feel a sense of injustice that this is happening, but you also want them to feel the hope that it is solvable, right? So we can say, we connected to a dozen students, right? And empower them to produce reusable pads. So far, we have produced 100, but if we had machines, we would produce 3 times more. And that means you already know what that means. It means we would have 300 reusable pads, and that probably would cover the entire school. So you're already getting your stakeholders to feel like, okay, something is happening. This guy is already changing the story. Or this lady is already changing the story. Now, at this point, you want them to take an action, specific action. Um, and I want to use this opportunity to share a story. I wish I could share this on Instagram right away. There is this, it wasn't an advert, it was a viral post of a nonprofit whose mission is to get people out of slavery. So apparently in the Middle East, some people are still slaves working to clear family and generational debt. And what this organization does is they go in, pay the debt, and integrate these people into the society by giving them accommodation, a place to work, etc. So when they shared the story, they first of all, I did not know. So first of all, they made me realize what is happening. I never knew this issue still persisted or it still existed. And I felt such compassion. I felt pain and I felt angry when I saw the way children, mothers and fathers were farming, building because they were trying to pay off debt through hard labor. I want to point something out here that in the comment section of that particular post, everybody was asking, how can I help? What can I do? And then someone else said, how much does it cost to free someone of generational? I think, I don't know what the words were, but to get someone out of this situation. And the organization said it's $7,500 to pay off their debt, averagely $7,500 to pay off their debt and get them integrated into the society. You see what this story has done that I'm explaining to you? It achieved these 3 things and got people to actually take action. The ones who couldn't obviously donate $7,500. We're reposting, tagging friends, tagging organizations. Hey, come see this, come see this. You should be a part of this. So that this framework should be a discipline. It should be a habit that you develop so that it allows you to create focused messages that ensures everything you do has a clear purpose. This was my first introduction to this organization, and I perceive that it is a lot complex than what we saw, but that was simple enough for us to know that we need to take action. I hope we understand this particular framework, because I want to talk about the anatomy of a compelling story now, because we want to build on our core message. How do we wrap our messages, our languages, in a story that people would remember and share? So here is a simple anatomy. Part one is the hero. And I want to be clear about this. The hero is not you or the organization. You're just the guide. The hero of your story, or the hero of the story you are telling, is the community. It's the young people that you serve, the families you work with, the environment you're protecting. They are the protagonist on a journey. The challenge is the obstacle the hero is facing. It's the problem you're trying to solve. It's the specific SDG you are tackling. And then part three is the action. Again, we are back to the framework I shared earlier. This is where you come in. This is your project, your YDoS initiative, the tool, the mentor, the catalyst that helps the hero overcome the challenge. Remember, you are the guide. And this distinction is crucial because it keeps the power and agency with the community, which is the core of our asset-based approach. And then finally is invitation. I mentioned earlier that problems are opportunities. You invite people. Remember the know, feel, do framework? When you've been able to get people to know what the problem is, how unique it is to your community, get them to feel what these people are feeling, even though it might never be exact, but you get them to have a sense of it, it is easy to invite them to do something wherever they are. And this is how your audience join the hero, the community, on their journey to becoming and to eliminating the problems that you've seen. I'm gonna give you an example. Let's make this real. On your screen is Bernard from Tanzania. He's a Youth Give champion from last year's contest. Bernard is an 18-year-old cancer survivor. He experienced the challenge firsthand. So in this case, he is embedded in the story. And the children battling cancer is focus, right? The children battling cancer and their resilient families. So what is the challenge that they face? Financial burden, lack of awareness in the communities that leads to late diagnosis. And his action here is that he did not just survive, because now he's like the focal point of the story. He turned his pain into purpose. He started a youth-led program that does two things: raises funds and then goes to schools to spread awareness. He's using his own experience to empower others. So what is his invitation here? I left this part blank because unless Bernard is here to share his invitation, I don't think I have the right to do that. But we can think through what his invitation could be. If Bernard's story was something you were working on, how would you invite people to be a part of the solution that you are crafting? Please use the comment section as often as you can. I suspect that time is fast spent, but I'm curious to know how you would invite people using this case study. One moment. But I'm also hoping that you see how this works. Bernard's personal story gives his communication an incredible authenticity that most large organizations might not be able to replicate. He's leading a mission from his own journey. He's structuring the work in such a way that it is unforgettable. He's well aware of the situation because he has also gone through it. So now that you have your core message, your story structure, the anatomy of a compelling story, who are you telling the story to? A critical mistake many of us make, just as I mentioned earlier, that we are tackling complex issues and we want to say everything all at once in one post, which is the way to go. Another issue is also thinking that we can craft our messaging to cater to everybody at once, whereas there are different levels of audiences and we can target them at different instances. So to be truly effective, you need to tailor your story to your audience. And first I would say your community members, the people you are serving directly, they are asking you, what is in it for us? How will our children benefit from this program that you are doing? How will the environment be better with these projects that you're doing? And how can we be a part of it? Your message to them is a message of collective benefits, of ownership and participation. Your potential volunteers, and many of you here, I want to believe, are volunteers in some way or the other. You're part of this movement. It has mobilized thousands of volunteers since 2020. At this stage, volunteers are saying, how can I use my skills? Will this be a meaningful experience? Now, your post or your messaging here is if you want to be part of this project, you can contribute to this by giving your time, which we talked about earlier. So this is a powerful way of engaging your audience. The way you would put out your communication and your message to community members will not be the same. Volunteers want to know how they can be a part of it. And if that's the only message you are putting out there, community members will be lost as to how this even concerns them in the first place. For businesses, they are asking you, what is the return on investment? I mean, because they are businesses, right? How does partnering with you help our brand? How will partnering with you align with our company values? Your message to them is more professional. It's speaking on visibility, measurable impact, and shared goals. This is where data, the numbers come in. This is where you share actual factual information. And then finally, your online donors, they are asking you, is this project credible? You know, you are on ground, they are not. We are just online finding your project and you want us to donate thousands of dollars. Is it a credible project? Is this a real need? Where exactly would this money go to? What will it do? And if you can transparently and honestly share what a dollar will even do, amazing, right? Your communication at this stage is transparency, right? Compelling storytelling and specific tangible outcomes. For example, a dollar would get a girl one pad. $1,000 would cater to 3 schools in my community. Straight to the point. And when people do donate, it is important that the channel where you solicited for this fund, you go back there with infographics. We raised $50,000 and you share how and where this money went to. You do that consecutively, you do that consistently. I think you would see sustainable engagement going forward. So still on stakeholder session, a few weeks ago, I had a session with Leap Africa, I think, on stakeholder engagement. I will not be able to speak at length on this, but I recommend getting the replay to that session if you were not on that call, or go through the deck that I shared. But a quick recap at the time was that a stakeholder is anyone who is affected by your project, who can affect your project. There are people that you are trying to help, or they are the people who help you help them, like donors, or the people who can stop you if you're not paying attention. Governmental parastatals, community heads, police stations, for example, etc. Your stakeholders are co-leaders, they are co-creators, they are collaborators. And I also touched on how to convert your potential stakeholders to actual partners and volunteers and donors. At that event, I shared 2 resources at the time, and it is still available. The first one is the campaign building worksheet that helps because we know that a lot of you are planning campaigns and we thought this might be a practical workbook for you to use. And then the second one was a practical toolkit for the session at the time. I think, yeah, it's still available. So it's a blend of what works. It's a bit of stakeholder mapping. It's a bit of campaign planning. It will just help you walk through all of these things, not all of the things I've been talking about right now, but the bit around engaging your audience and your stakeholders, it would help you walk through it. I see comments. Let me just take a quick look. So, Dixon, allow me to call you by that name, he said, you can be part of the change, support this youth-led movement, bringing life-saving awareness and critical resources to children battling cancer in Tanzania. Yes, and I think it would have been okay to stop there. Sometimes brevity is good. Simple is also great sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry, Mzizi. I actually do think that I have network issues, but so far so good. People have confirmed that they can hear me. But again, I hope that the recording would help you all, those that are unable to hear me. Dara's, I'm seeing Dara's invitation. According to Dara, she would organize a fundraising event and invite doctors to speak on early diagnosis. Yes, I love it. And teach self-diagnosis exercise. Absolutely. I see your invitation. Your invitation is like a story, which I absolutely love. Dara, if you want to go a step further, we can even you can record this invitation as a video. I think that would even make more impact. If it were coming from someone who has gone through it and survived it, you share a video and even state that the reason you survived this is because of early diagnosis, and you feel that this is a problem that is in your community. People just knew this information, less mortality rate. So yes, thank you. Okay, so moving on. I think the time is far gone, so I might not be able to talk about some things. So let me move to digital campfire. Apologies. Interesting. I'm trying to pause. Yeah. So today's world, um, people gather in many places, and one of the most important of them is online. So I like to think of social media as our modern digital campfire. It is where we gather to share stories, to connect, to tell stories. And as a leader, being a great storyteller is important, especially online. There's so much noise, so much information. But I also wanted to sort of encourage you all. You don't need a fancy camera or a marketing degree to be good at this. First, authentic visuals are always better than perfect visuals. A real, slightly blurry photo from your project taken with a phone has more heart and soul and is more believable than a glossy, generic stock photo. So show the real work. Tell micro stories in your single post. Remember Dara's example where I said, if we can take it a step further, because that's a story, we put it out there as a video. So a short caption for that video, you hint at that narrative arc. Don't be intimidated by videos, or you could share videos of field work of volunteers actually doing the work and sharing why this is important in the community. Now, on hashtags are no longer what people think they are. So I would advise using a mix of them. First, because some of them actually help you know who is who in that field. So if I went on Instagram now, we don't have much time. I wanted us to do this. And we searched hashtag climate action. If you are someone who is working in that space, you would see a lot of organizations and stakeholders in this space. And it gives you information, helps you connect with those people. There are campaign-specific hashtags. This one is specifically to know who is connecting with your work and who is sort of joining the movement. And then there are local hashtags. So I personally use hashtags this way and not as a way to it's no longer a virality tool as it used to be. Now, I've mentioned that Giving Tuesday is a day. It's a global day of generosity. It happens every year. But beyond that, I wanted to talk about the fact that there are giving days, and I personally use these giving days as opportunities for us to connect with other people in the space. So if you are planning your communication calendar, mark down giving days. I have an Excel file that has every Observance Day celebrated and commemorated by different people and countries. At the beginning of every year, I review our programs and then I use that opportunity to find and capture these observance days so that I can connect with people in that space, especially if it relates to my work. This way, you get more eyes, more ears on the things that you do. I'm skipping some slides so I can give you all the time to ask questions. Okay. So questions and answers, anyone. I'm also looking at the comment section. Bio, so sorry that your phone is about to die. I'm not sure it would be a problem if you had to leave. Hopefully the recording is available and you can join. You can listen to it later on. But if there are no questions, I want to give you all 30 seconds to drop your questions in the comment section. I would be passing the mic back to Victoria as well. Oh, yes, 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 the Q&A section.
Hi,
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Bidemi.
thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right.
Q&A. I see some directed to you, Victoria, so I'm gonna leave that to you. Okay,
Yes,
what's the
there's a
difference
question from
between
Uchechukwu.
Yes, I see that. What is the difference between action and invitation? I understand the whole frame of it, with the action being the project, and the invitation being the call to action. Well, you've already answered the question with your question. So they are not similar. So since the action is what you're doing, clearly, the invitation is how you want people to be part of that action. Because you don't want to do this thing alone. You wouldn't go far alone. You would go far if you had more money, if you had more volunteers. So the invitation and the call to action is these are the things that are left, right? Come join in and take up this space or handle this bit that is yet to be done. Does that work? Uchechukwu. Okay, I think that's it. Eva, I actually had a session on stakeholders engagement before now. I would plead with Victoria to share that recording with you and the resources with you. Everything is with Leap Africa. Anything else? Okay, so this hashtag question, I actually wanted to do a practical. So how about I don't know if I would do a small recording on how I do it, but it's just a search, to be honest. Instead of searching for handles, you search for hashtags and you follow those hashtags so that anything that happens in that space, especially if organizations are using that hashtag, you will see it, right? It gives you all the information in it. And I also set alert. I set Google alert. I set Talkwalker Digest alert. It gives me information almost every day. I get it in my inbox every day and I know what's happening in the space. So thank you guys so much for this opportunity. Back to you. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Hi, Bidemi. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for everything that you have shared this afternoon. It was really, really lovely hearing and just getting more insights from you. We really appreciate your time and all you have shared. Thank you so much. All right. Can we appreciate our facilitator in the chat? Let's tell her how we feel about the session. Just a thank you to her. Thank you so much, Hanifa, for sharing that. Dara, you asked the question. We didn't see your question, but if you still have questions, you can still send them. We'll find a way to share your questions with Bidemi and share the responses with you. Thank you guys for sending your thank yous. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think we can let Bidemi now go about her day. We will get the slides and recording shared with everyone so that you can also at your own pace take in more and more and more insight from what she has shared. So thank you, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to pause sharing now.